Hello buddies, I'm Nonit and today we will talk about the UAPA Act 1967 and amendment in 2004 and amendment in 2019 and the most important the Delhi High Court judgment. So but before that we have to look in the Delhi roads, a brief history of and a background of Delhi road. So what happened in 2020 that when the Donald Trump is here in India. So what happened at that time that on February 2020. So and there is a road stay took place in India in the Delhi northeast area. So that northeast area is included and the hot spot and where the roads actually happened, that is the Jafrabad metro station. So Jafrabad metro station is the main hotspot and there are some northeast areas of Delhi took place and where the some. So if you look at the some areas of the northeast Delhi, then so there are some other areas in the northeast Delhi, the Khujori Khas, Moj Nagar, Karawal Nagar and Brahmipuri. So actually what happened? Why that roads take place? So what happened? There is a Pinjra Tod activist, Devangna, and another is the Natasha Narwal. Natasha Narwal and these two girls are protested against the Citizenship Amendment Act which passed by the parliament. So what happened in that? In that there are some other political leaders and some other political influencers either from the ruling party. Some people came there and that in the very next day. So on the 22nd February that protests were taking place. 22nd February 2020, the very next day they came and that led to the clash between the that anti-CAA protester and those who are supporting the CAA protesters. So this led to the riot and this led to the huge clash between and deadly riot took place. What happened that around the 50 plus people died and around the 400 plus people injured in that Delhi riot case, and this obviously led to the appeal in the Delhi High Court and there are some. So what happened in the Devangna and other is the Natasha Narwal student Tanha were also arrested. So remember that when they are arrested for the anti-CAA protest, then the district court and there are the courts grants bail to the Natasha Narwal and Devangna as well. So under the May 29, on the May 29, 2020, they again arrested under the UAPA Act and Tanha is subsequently also arrested under the UAPA Act. So what happened in this case? So obviously this led to the what happened under UPA Act. Then you have to sit at least without even the charge sheeted for 180 days. You have to be in jail without charge sitting. So that 180 days were done, and then what happened? In the 15th June, the Delhi High Court granted the bail to the Devangna, Natasha Narwal, and also the Tanaja Jamia Islamia student also under the UAPA Act. So let's talk about, so to understand that case we need to understand the UAPA Act, and I have given a brief background about the Delhi road, and we will also talk about the SC judgment and also the SC judgment, Delhi High Court judgment, and we will also talk about the Supreme Court judgment which actually today came. So although bail were still there and they have granted the regular bail, but SC Supreme Court of India said that there is a need more interpretation and some careful interpretation, and this judgment has a wide ramification all over India. So let's talk about the UAPA Act. What are the main provision and what are the ramification and what are the impact which lead to the. So if we talk about the first full form of the UAPA Act, the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1964. Remember that. And remember that it is an anti-legislation act, anti-terror legislation act. So remember that it is for the countering the terror. So main aim of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Acts basically to either prevent the terrorism or create a deterrence for terrorism. So this is the very important point. This is the word, you can say in one word, either the prevention of terrorism or create a deterrence for the terrorism. So if you talk about this is so originally in the 1967, and remember that it is an anti-terror legislation, and in 1967 there is a unlawful activities under this scheme, the UAPA Act. What about what is unlawful activities according to this law is that either the separation for the country and the either to disrupt the sovereignty and integrity of India will be considered as the unlawful activity. After the Parliament attack and Kandahar attack, so there are the two, that is the Tada and Pota Act was there. Before the second amendment in this UAPA 1964, there is a Tada and Pota Act. So what happened? Tada is repealed in 1995 and Pota is repealed in 2004. So after the Pota Act, so just because of the repeal of the Pota Act 2004, there is a subsequent amendment done in the UAPA Act 1964 and added the word terrorist activities. So added the terrorist activity. It gave this some central and absolute power to central government, and there are the some special provision like 180 days needed to charge it, and it can subsequently further extended if the Supreme Court or High Court or if any court allowed it. Another is the very big amendment done in this, the UAPA Act 1964 in 2000, and which is strongly opposed by the opposition parties as well as the civil rights activists, and there are some human rights organizations. Both are opposed this amendment in 2019. So what are the main amendment in 2019? Let's talk about. Look at the amendment done in the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1964. After the 2004 amendment, then there is an amendment in 2019 as well. The most contentious amendment done in the 2019 as the designated individual as terrorist. This is the most contentious amendment done in the 2019, because the opposition parties as well as the civil societies are strongly opposed that there could be a wrong use of this amendment done by the government. So why this amendment done? Why designated individual as terrorist is necessary? What is the government view? So government view is that if we ban, so what is in the 2004 amendment is done that if there is a ban of organization. So what happened if government ban the organization, then the some member or the either member come out of that organization and they make other organization or either the individually act in their own capacity. So now this term individual as terrorist. So this is the similar provision in the also the United States of America. So I think that this provision has borrowed from there. So this is in designated individual as terrorist is the very and most important and contentious provision done by the amendment done in the 2019. There are the some other few amendment done that. So remember that the main enforcement agencies of this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1964 is NIA, National Investigation Agency. So what happened before in that the everything permission we have to take from the Director General of the National Investigation, and some below the rank of Superintendent of Police, they cannot inspect or they cannot investigate the cases. But what happened in this inspector rank of officers can also investigate in the under the UAPA Act. And another provision is the seizure of property after the permission of the NIA. After the permission of NIA. So what is happens is there is a seizure of property. So what happened in here? What happened here that so if we have to seize the property, then to take the permission of different DG from the different state, it's very difficult. So it centralized the powers to a DG of NIA. That you can seize any property either from anywhere in the whole country. So this is the main provision. So this is the very important that designate individual and terrorist, and the misuse of UAPA is the most contentious point in this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1964. If you look at the 5-year analysis of the cases, then in 2015, 2016, 17, 18 and 19, if you look at the cases which is registered under the UAPA Act 1974 original, so 897 under 2015, and subsequent rise in 2016 922, 2017 901, and in 2018 1182, and in 2019 1226 cases are registered under the UAPA Act. So this has been taken from the NCRB data. NCRB data, and there are the some Ministry of Home Affairs also put this data in the Parliament or in the Lok Sabha. So this is very important. So now we have to look at the Delhi High Court judgment. So this judgment is very important while misusing because of the misuse of this UAPA Act becoming more and more increasing in these days. And wherever the protest arises, then there is a Sedition Act or the Sedition 124A, and this UAPA 1964 Act was imposed on some person. So before that, before discussing the SC judgment, we need to look the section 43D5. Section 43D5. What this section 43D5 of the UAPA Act said that, so it creates actually a legal bar for the person to grant bail which is registered under the UAPA Act. Remember this. So it creates a legal bar. So that's why at the initial points, never the court gave the and court grant bail to the person. So they at the initial points, courts never grant bail to the person because of this section 43D5. So now let's talk about the Delhi High Court judgment. Delhi High Court, while slamming the Delhi police while hearing a bail case of Devangana Natasha Narwal and the Iqbal Tanha, so slapping that you are casually, so while slamming the Delhi police, they said that we are casually invoking the anti-terror law against the CAA protesters, which you cannot do. So remember that. Another is very important judgment in this came that you cannot be permitted. It means the police cannot be permitted to apply the anti-terror law which comes under the criminal acts or under the conventional offences like the under the Indian Penal Code. So remember that here basically the Delhi High Court said that you cannot apply the anti-terror laws such like that the UAPA Act UAPA Act, which are actually already covered under the conventional law like the Indian Penal Code. And remember that here one main important point said by the Delhi SC that all terrorists are criminal but not all criminals are terrorists. This is the basic difference which created by the Delhi High Court, and this is the very important point from this judgment came. Another very important in the Delhi High Court judgment said that the court while hearing the case of under the UAPA Act, so while court must be careful in employing the section 35, which is a very definitional of terrorist act. So what section 15 said that there is a if any act or intent to act or likely to act which actually try to threat the integrity or sovereignty of India, so that will be considered as a terrorist act under the section 15 of UAPA Act. Delhi High Court wants to try to differentiate between the terrorist act, what actually is the terrorist act, and what are the conventional offences. So you cannot use the conventional offences as terrorist act. So this is the basic meaning here what court said. So remember this, that Delhi High Court given the argument under the section 15 of the UAPA Act. So while rejecting this argument of Delhi police, and Delhi High Court said that there is a sacrosanct principle of interpretation of penal offences that it should be constructed strictly and narrowly. Means there is basically the main argument in this section 55 that we should differentiate between the terrorist activity and the other penal offences which come under the criminal activities as well. So this is the main argument in this Delhi police said. The Delhi police said that there is a section 15 said this is all about. So another is basically the most important said that which is actually done by the government, and on the against that the Delhi High Court said that a terrorist activity. Remember that a terrorist activity doesn't merely arise from disturbance of law and order. So it doesn't merely arise from the disturbance of law and order. Suppose if there is any law and order disturbance like either recently in Bengal, if Delhi, or if there is a Punjab, anything like that, then you cannot consider, you can also try it in the legal penal offences, or if there is any right, but you cannot consider that activity as a terrorist activity. Another very important point said by the Delhi High Court that every terrorist may be criminal. Every terrorist may be criminal, but all criminal cannot be given the level of terrorist. This is the main another important point. But another some important point there said by the Delhi High Court that when we should use the terrorist activity, when there is a profound impact, on the defense of India. So terrorist activities should be used in a matters of which has a profound impact on the defense of India. Profound means basically the deep impact which actually causes the basically the threat the defense of India, and now is a grave concern for India to tackle, and then we should use this anti-terror law. So the profound impact on the defense of India. Another is the very important said that the extremely grave, remember this word is very important, that extremely grave and serious penal offences under the section 15, 17 and 18 of UAPA Act you cannot be invoked, or if you invoked under the frivolous intent, then it actually derail the intent of Parliament to making this UAPA Act 1964. These are the some important points which came after the SC judgment while granting the bail to three activists, Natasha Narwal, Devangana and the Iqbal Tanha. So this is the all about the SC judgment, and the matter obviously went to the Supreme Court, and Delhi police appealed. Delhi police appealed in the Supreme Court against the judgment of High Court while granting the bail and against the bail of the three activists. So today the judgment came and where SC said, so although SC Supreme Court refused to state the bail grant to three activists, but what actually the Supreme Court said that it should not be applied or it should not be put into any court while referring the cases such like that. So this is the present status regarding this. So now obviously the time will emerge, and in July obviously the Supreme Court will hear this case. What are the interpretation will come, we will discuss further. I hope you will like this video. You should subscribe my channel, and thank you. So when this judgment will come, we will meet also again. Thank you so much.